as I take in this beautiful vista that the universe, the heavens have provided, my little corner of paradise, fortunate enough to be one of those people living in relative peace and safety and quiet. I get present to um, what my commitment is with this YouTube channel and the work that I'm doing in the world. At present, with my current resources, I'm supporting two charities, orphanages in fact, in Uganda, an enterprise that I want to grow out of my, I don't even want to use philanthropic, is out of my commitment to the world. I once wrote a poem about could the earth be paradise in one of my anthologies. And I actually postulated what does paradise actually mean and what could it look like? Because at times we get lost in the conceptual and abstract aspect of things. Perhaps imagining the biblical teachings of the world, the land of milk and honey, and all of these things, and what the Quran says about. I haven't read too much of the Quran, so I wouldn't want to misquote. And other religious or at least philosophical points of view. But what I'm looking at right now looks like paradise. Look at that beautiful sun. All of these cosmic miracles created just so I can have this day. Trees and vegetation just next to me producing oxygen so that I can breathe it, and myself breathing out carbon dioxide so the trees can breathe it, and the clouds in the sky, and so we can have rainwater and just enough heat so we can be warm and this planet can be livable. That's paradise. It's paradise. We're already there. We're already here. So what's missing? That's the question. What's missing? And so I suppose at that earlier time, when I was a bit more conflicted, I couldn't quite imagine it. I couldn't quite see it. But I think I had enough foresight to suggest that perhaps paradise would be something on this planet where everyone can have access to life like this. Not about amassing innumerable wealth, incalculable wealth, and money in the bank that's going to remain and be meaningless in effect relative to your lifespan. And before I'm misquoted, I've got no issue with money and meritocracy and the accumulation of wealth and enjoying the spoils of success and the gains of capitalism and technological progression and industrialization. That means we have cars and airplanes and watches, cars right here. Quite love that car. Sunglasses, and you can enjoy the material abundance of this planet. What I do have an issue with, though, however, is the fact that the systems we create, or the system we have at this stage, can and sometimes disenfranchises others, and there are barriers to the pathways of self-determination. That's my issue. Everything else about life is beautiful. The concept of capitalism, and for all capitalism is forward thinking in a way. What does the squirrel do? All the animals that hibernate, they collect their nuts, etc., or the bears eat their food and store up fat so that they have resources or a surplus for the winter or the period of hibernation. That's analogous or synonymous with the profit motive, is to create just a bit more abundance in your exchanges and industry so that you have a surplus for other things, whether it's a life that you want to live, pursuits you want to pursue, or saving for times when you might not have as much fortune in your life. Equally, the ideas of socialism and any other system. Really, the question we need to be asking is about sustainability and equity, not about does the system work or not. Human beings, we can live under any system. We can make any system work. The only question is about how inclusive is that system? Does it cater for everyone? And every system can. And ironically, the application of all of the different philosophies of human existence that we have yet come up with synergistically would most likely create the best results as a postulation, but would rather argue about who's right and who's wrong, what's functional and what's dysfunctional. And the point is, give a knife to someone, they can put it in the drawer and use it to cut vegetables and make food, or as an ornament, and give a knife to another and they can stab 50 people. It's not the knife. It's not capitalism. It's not socialism. It's not communism. It's not Islam. It's not Christianity. It's not whatever you want to point at. It's the wielder. And so with that, I will commence to to read from the Dichotic Dilemma, which again is the point. And I have left my usual setting to take advantage of this beautiful day, which is hopefully signaling the return of the sun in these fair British Isles, which can be prone to a little bit of cloud cover and precipitation. Suffice it to say, no complaints, just a statement. It's a beautiful country, as is evidenced. This whole planet is beautiful. I just saw a clip about a gentleman who visited Namibia. It looked absolutely stunning. There isn't a space of this beautiful rock that you can't visit and not find extreme beauty. And that's the message. So, the Dichotic Dilemma, the Fabric of Life, by myself, Raleigh Chiuta. So, from where we left off the last time, ironically enough, chapter 1, 10, the secret of life. So just to explain again, in the Dichotic Dilemma, in my late teens, early 20s, I was really frustrated with life and I was losing it really. And my foil, my father, was probably running out of answers for myself, and he instructed me to, on this particular day, he said, well, why don't you write all these things down? And it's like the obedient child that I was raised to be. I quickly ran to W. Smith and bought a collection of notepads, and I commenced to write ubiquitously thoughts and feelings and frustrations, love and hate and all manner of things. I'd probably be terrified to read the original writings, as this is, but most of it was quite fair, really. As I think I only probably left out, I didn't leave out anything, to be honest. So probably being hard on myself. I was probably more reasonable than I thought I was. I was just an angry young man looking for answers. And so I scribbled everything down voluminously, and then I sat down to type it. And then so I decided, maybe as a function of having studied English literature as an A-level, to analyze my poems. And this was the result. So the structure of the book is a poem and then its analysis thereafter. So 110. The secret to life is attaining a balance. We have a great teacher, the earth we inhabit. As we are some of its inhabitants, we have to live by its rules, and we are bound by them. If you push here, it will have an effect there. Force and effect. Simple physics. An invariable consequence. Therefore, in everything you do, you have to attain a balance. If we overexploit and pollute the environment, it is only to our own eventual detriment. Address the balance. Every action has a reaction. So do not push too hard if you do not want the object you push to go too far. Do not take too much. Everything in moderation. Give things time to recover. You should be gradual. Do not go too close to the sun, for it is too hot. Do not go too far from the sun, for it is too cold. Measure your actions. Have caution. Know what you're doing and why you do it, and account for any possible reverberations. What you cannot understand, only meddle in when you understand it or can cope with any potential consequences, be they desirable or adverse. If you have nothing to say, do not speak, else sound like a fool. Do not be too loud or too quiet. Respect the balance, because the earth, our mother, shows us how to. However, some do not know this truth. Their greatest mistake was to think they knew. A mind that is convinced it knows all cannot learn. For how can you search if you think you have found? How can you thirst if you believe your thirst is quenched? Be humble and you will be raised. And you can only go up if you have been down. And if you are up or think you're up, you can only go down. Those are the laws of nature. That's what our mother permits us to do. But we have been taught to ignore her, turn a blind eye when she cries or her belly rumbles, because she is sick of the poison she ingests on account of our actions, or when she gets hot or parched, as she thirsts for the life essence that is being drained away from her. When she weeps, we weep, for she is our mother. Those who revel in her pain and don't feel her pain when she is in pain are not her children. They are invaders, intruders, who will rape her, not suckle from her bosom, as she cares for her children, but brutalize her, take from her children, torture her, family, and profit, and make merry from her suffering and her children's suffering. We are the children of the earth. She is our mother. We have failed her. Now we seek for answers. The answers are in ourselves. True freedom is not given or bought. It is earned. And in this time, it is only through the blood, sweat, and tears of many tortured souls. Till that day we shall plead, beg, and suffer. Open your eyes, sons and daughters of the mother who blessed, nurtured, and made you. Wake up, for she weeps now. Wake up, before it's too late. Wake up before this malice, this pestilence, this cancer becomes malignant, and there's nothing to save. Wake up before you are really dead, for you are more than dead right now. You are worse than dead. Wake up, children. Wake up. Your mother weeps. I feel as though I've just met my my 19, 20, 21-year old self in reading that. I don't know if I'm allowed to say I'm quite impressed. For all I was aware of at that point in time in my life was extreme pain and extreme confusion. So, as I'm 39 today, turning 40, having had truly extraordinary experiences and learned so much, I'm staggered at the fact that this young man had that much awareness and depth of thought. It might be a book that I've written, but my writing is a stream of consciousness, so I don't necessarily identify and associate the writing with myself as an identity. I see it more as an extraction from the universe, like a conduit, a messenger, if you wish, and it's from the sender to the receiver, and I'm just the buffer in between, the transponder, if I've used the right type of terminology there. And all I do is modulate the frequency and recalibrate it into words for transmission to anyone who might listen. And so yes, so that man was that man, that young man at 21, and I am this man today, along this continuum of time. Yes, indeed, in this physical body. But in a spiritual sense, they say if you are on a journey of upward growth, you die many ego deaths. You die spiritually, and you rise and you die. And so in that sense, I can't tell you how many times I've died. I've probably died every day, because maybe up until a couple of years ago or a year ago, for as long as I can remember, even going into childhood, I wished I was dead every morning. And I thought about not wanting to be here more times than is even calculable, really, to be honest. So perhaps in each one of those moments I died. And so as much as that young man is me, it's a completely different human being to me. So I read his words as though I'm reading the words of not a stranger, but of someone else. And it's just impressive to me that at those tender years, there was that much depth of thought. So I really enjoyed that. And I suppose a further thing I can say is throughout my between 26 and 36 in 2016, I had a mental breakdown. And so, and even before then, I didn't have the absolute confidence in myself. So as much as I had written the book, I suffered a lot of anxiety around the book, and self-confidence and self-belief issues. So I think the book's available on Amazon, and I took it down a total of 4 times, I think, going through different periods of crisis of confidence, then regaining my confidence, then losing it, and then I'll take it off, and then I'll ask the publisher to put it back, and then I'll take it off. So, so indeed, that young man is impressive to have taken on the enormity of the world's problems and made them his own, which is probably why I broke down at 26, because that's an impossible feat for any mind. And I can only thank God that I regathered my strength and recovered myself. I can assure you it wasn't my action. I just had enough will to keep afloat, but the spirit was broken, just like a broken horse in a stable. It's alive on the basis of its physical body, but it's lost the luster it would have had on the wild plains had it not been domesticated for consumption of a whimsical rider, an ornamental piece in our human existence. Such a powerful beast controlled by the tiny little rope because it's lost its freedom, in a sense. So, what did I say after that? I said the piece is abstract and is characterized in part by political overtones, visions of exploitative raiders and invaders, which is in reference to the process of colonization in Africa by Western powers and the subsequent exploitation of the earth and those colonized. Colonization, however, is a process that has existed in history between groups and irrespective of racial lines as the groups struggled for survival, dominance, and resources. The ongoing story and struggle for survival. However, more pointedly, in this instance, this piece is relating to the exploitation of the earth for profit, and some of its views echo the piece and extrapolation immediately preceding it. The question being, should we exploit the earth, its flora and fauna, for mindless profit, or use it, or use what we should and must to necessitate our existence and the resultant existential, political, and social systems that would result from each proposed paradigm of existence? There are some people who perceive the earth from a spiritual perspective and speak of a symbiosis between us as humanity on the earth and the earth itself, the flora and fauna. Certainly, it's a perspective worth noting because by its very nature, it encourages a sustainable existence. The way, the way that the dominating nations exist at the moment and the ensuing direction they have taken the human race is generally agreed not to be sustainable. Yet the mechanics of that existence are embedded into every aspect of modern day living. The interesting observation of note, however, is that certainly intrinsic observation reveals that where we are at this stage was not a matter of pure choice. However, more a reflection of the human story as human beings try to understand who we are and also answer the challenges of survival, leading eventually through discovery and technological advancement to the current status quo. The civilizations that have powered our arrival to modernity, to modern day existence, were victims of design, necessity leading to technological development in the name of trying to improve the state of their existence. Yet now humanity seems subject to the system it has created, leading to rising population levels and depleting natural resources, all factors which will lead to more strife as we continue to live as different geopolitical entities trying to survive individually in a volatile and challenging world. Yet seemingly arguing for a monoculture in singular understanding and perspective appears for a monoculture, I do apologize, appears to be against what we value as human beings, our different identities and our different values, different cultures. I'll argue that culture is something that develops as a group of human beings occupy a particular geographical area over a period of time, creating identity and traits that distinguish that particular group. Yet, in the grandest observation of life, humanity and our collective existence, is a phenomenon that transcends time and space and is exponentially more of a fantastic observation than the traits of a single group's culture. On the grandest observation of life, I would ask, which is more important and edifying, to value our individual, tribalistic, and territorial values, or the collective value of the human race? As ever, the dichotic dilemma, the fabric of life. Yet, as we struggle with and ponder on life's complications and complexities, its complex beauty and more uplifting aspects are ever present, even if just for a flicker. Hence, for those who appreciate, excuse me, hence, for those who appreciate the expressions of the emotional state, I will encourage you to enjoy, if not appreciate, the ensuing poem. I love you. I hope our wounds can heal so that we can cherish 1.11, by the way. I love you. I hope our wounds can heal so that we can cherish this beautiful love we have found in this land of hurt and pain. Times together are heaven itself, for only heaven can be that beautiful. You're my angel, sent from the heavens to help me along this journey. Let's not let ourselves down. You're beautiful, and so is this love. My heart beats for you. I breathe for you. I wake up for you. Let's make it grow. That's my greatest and most precious of wishes. We need the trust so that those that would tear us asunder can have no say in our bond. We should love and respect each other, for love is a precious yet dangerous gift, and you have to know how to cherish it. When it is true, its essence should and will guide you. It's time to grow to my passion. And that's the end of the first chapter. I can assure you that there's so much synchronicity that I can see in this very moment. Enough to make me want to say, as Einstein said, spooky action at a distance. And he was absolutely right to devolve it into that kind of phrase, because it's between magic and what we call reality. And of course, we can use words such as quantum entanglement, but that takes the mystery out of it, and we think we've solved it when we haven't even begun to scratch the surface or open the doors to the extraordinary reality that actually exists. And this but a figment of the imagination and a limited scope based on our sensory inputs, our sensory apparatus. So then to even purport to know what real is, in that we can distinguish it. All I will do is this. Simply outstanding. The dichotic dilemma. The fabric of life.